So, Roger, we were talking about control and how that's, I think, the thing that most people freak out about. They think that you're going to get them to do stuff they don't want to do. I don't know whether other people are YouTube addicts like me, but, you know, I was in preparation for the interview, YouTubing lots of hypnotherapy things. And one of the things I think that's just absolutely mind-blowing is when you're watching someone go to shake someone's hand and then put them into a sleep.
Yeah.
You know, and Darren Brown, you know, he's one who does that kind of thing a lot. Oh, sleep, and then that's
I know, gone. That's all very... That's definitely not what I'm doing. That's not what hypnotherapists do. But that handshake thing's very interesting. It comes from Milton Erickson, who is American, and he kind of developed this handshake thing. And he was very kind of proud of the fact that he could hypnotize anybody. I wouldn't say that I could do that. It's an interesting thing. It's called a pattern interrupt. And what it is if somebody approaches you with their hand out, you think, oh, right, because of cultural conditioning, we're going to be shaking hands. So there is that one where you kind of suddenly...
Sorry, I was going like...
Some of your nose.
Like that.
Yeah, there is that. And that is
the one.
That's a pattern interrupt, yeah. But what they do in this thing is you approach somebody, you put your hand out, they put their hand out to shake your hand, and then you actually take their hand with your other hand and you put it up in front of their face, and you say, look at that, and just let your trance increase at the same time as your hand comes down to your side. And because you've been suddenly surprised, it's kind of like a shock, because you're not expecting that. And the shock kind of, just in that moment, you go into a little mini trance and then they deepen it. I've never tried doing that, but I've read about it, and that's how it works. And there's extensive explanations of this. You look around the internet and in books and things. There's huge amounts of writing about the handshake induction.
So, I mean, the main thing I want to talk about here is the difference then between a hypnotist and a hypnotherapist. Yeah,
I mean, a hypnotherapist would never do... Well, I don't think a hypnotherapist would ever do that kind of thing. I mean, what I do is what's called progressive relaxation, which is what I think most hypnotherapists would do. So you're not out of control. What happens is, you know, the first part of the session would be talking about, you know, whatever it is that you've come to see the hypnotherapist about. The hypnotic part in the second bit is very gentle. I'll be just asking you to kind of relax and just sit back in the chair. I'll get you to kind of breathe more slowly and to try and relax all the muscles all the way down your body kind of thing. And probably your eyes would automatically close. They don't have to, but people tend to close their eyes. And then I'd start to basically, you know, it sounds a bit strange, but I'd tell them a story or a journey. I call it a journey. So I'd take them on a kind of an imaginative journey. And that would be related to the things that we've been talking about before. And some of the things that would crop up in that journey would have kind of some element of symbolism about them, and they would relate to what we've been talking about. And it might even be literally a story where you suddenly see yourself from a different point of view, or something like that. Or the things just might be very relaxing. It's very, very unthreatening. And at any point, if I was to say something that you didn't like, you would just pop out straight away. You wouldn't stay there.
Now, I spoke to a couple of your clients who were very kind and let me talk to them about their experiences. No, they were absolutely... They said that it was an amazing experience, and they've been helped so much.
Gosh.
And one of the things that one of them said was that when they have come to your client room, it's very relaxing and atmosphere is really important. You even light a fire. So, you know, and obviously I know that mustn't happen obviously in the summer, and it's not something that's...
I have flowers in the summer.
You have flowers, do you? Well, how important is setting the scene, sort of making people feel comfortable and having a rapport?
It's completely... if you haven't got rapport and trust, you're not going anywhere. You know, it's not going to happen, really. I mean, I think that's the same with any kind of therapy. I mean, because a lot of this is therapy, and why would you tell me anything? Why would you feel like disclosing anything to me if you didn't have some level of trust in me? Oh, I said trust in me. I didn't mean to say that. But
well, maybe the song hypnotised you a little bit there.
Oh gosh, it's kind of wormed its way into my subconscious.
Well, this is one of the things I think is really interesting about hypnotherapy is that, and is this true? I mean, are we hypnotised all the time, every day anyway, in some ways, or, you know, by advertising, marketing and whatnot, and that coming to see, you know, someone like you is about taking a bit of that power back ourselves anyway, and saying, well, maybe in this area I'm not necessarily thinking straight. I want to maybe have a bit more, confidence or whatnot. I mean, what kind of things do people come to you with, first of all, and how affected are we by societies?
Well, that's two big questions, isn't it? I mean, the first question, I think we are kind of subliminally influenced by our surroundings and things that people say to us, and advertising and stuff like that. I'm sure that has having a kind of a subliminal effect. As for the kind of things that people come, obviously smoking, that's one of the most obvious things. Losing weight, controlling weight, eating more. If sometimes people don't eat enough. Looking after yourself in some respect like that. But there's also, anxiety, stress. Anxiety about a particular future event, like I've got to give a speech next week and it's really kind of, driving me crazy. Or sometimes it's more general anxiety, you don't really know why you're anxious, but it's just a general kind of background noise of anxiety. Phobias, fears. It can be obvious fears like fears of spiders, but sometimes it might be something like I just feel really uncomfortable when I go outside. Or, things like social anxiety where you just feel really uncomfortable in the presence of others to the point where it's quite debilitating.